My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all. Gosh, right now I'm feeling like my name is Hannah and this is my year of less stuff, she said, surrounded by stuff. I'm sitting here with the Purgatory box, which is this now. And then there's also this little acrylic tray that I've been keeping in the background. I mean, I haven't been keeping it in the background of my videos. I've been keeping it in that spot in the corner, and that spot happens to always be in the background of my videos. I've been using it as kind of like an up on top testing ground for things that I'm reckoning with and that I want to remember to use. And also I had put the blushes that I hauled in there, just like things that I really want to be using constantly for one reason or another. So you guys have been like peeping some of the things that are in that little acrylic drawer. So that's here. And then there are some things, there's a thing that I need to reckon with because it was PR that is too big to fit in any box. And then there are the things that I bought myself from Glossier to review. It's just a lot. I felt like I didn't get that many PR packages in January and at this point in the first half of February either, because as I'm filming this, we're about halfway through February and we're probably more than halfway through February when you're seeing it. And yeah, I mean, compared to the end of last year, I think it's probably like everything in the beauty industry, like it really ramps up and heats up for the last couple of months of the year as we near the holidays. And then right after the holidays, everyone's like an Android shutting down. And so I did receive a few things, but what I'm trying to say is that it didn't feel like a lot. And I was so relieved because it's my year of less stuff. This moment that I'm at right now where I'm having to reckon with a lot of beautiful things. And I know that the principle of my year and the actual desire of my heart is not to accept too many of them permanently into my life. So I'm trying to hold to that, but I'm looking at them and so many of them are perfect for me and so many of them are beautiful and I want them. This is the moment that I've been dreading, but it's also the moment that is the reason for this project. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous right now. I'm worried because I don't want to force myself not to keep things that I think would add value to my life. And that's actually written into the principles of my project. I'm trying to be kind with myself. I'm trying to allow it to be natural, like my role towards fewer nicer things. I don't want it to be an unnatural squeeze on me. I want it to be something that I kind of naturally move towards by constantly reminding myself with the rules of my project of what I actually want above all. But this might be a video I don't know how it's going to happen. I haven't pre-decided about pretty much anything, maybe a couple of things. But this might be a video in which I like keep a lot of things from the Purgatory box and it might be kind of a touchstone, something that I have to keep thinking about. I just don't know. And I'm sure if you know me through my videos and you've been following along, you can completely understand why. Because there's a lot on my plate here. And I'm trying not to let things sit in the Purgatory box for month after month after month. I'm trying not to let the Purgatory box outgrow itself ever again. So I'm going to try to reckon with as much as I possibly can. There are a few things that I haven't really had adequate time to test, and I'll probably keep a few things back. But I'm going to try to go through quickly. I'm going to try to hold myself to as much of the standard of the year of less stuff as I possibly can. But I also hope that you will understand, and I trust that most of you will understand, that this is a year-long project. It's a slow evolution. It's a lot of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I'm not trying to hold myself to the most stringent standards of only having a few things in my life right now, just in February of this year-long project. All right, let's do it. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So I want to start with the things that I purchased myself for review. I have purchased more things than just these 3 in the past month and a half, but the other things were purchased either as replacements or as beauty budget purchases. I have a separate budget, which is for me to buy things that I want to review for my channel because I think it will be healthy for my channel. Most of all, because I want to make sure that I'm not only reviewing things that come in PR. I wanted to set aside some money for the year that I could use to make sure that some of what I'm reviewing on my channel is stuff that I bought myself, makeup specifically, because I didn't know, and I still don't know how much makeup I'll end up buying this year. I did end up buying some makeup in January, but what if I don't want to buy any other makeup with my beauty budget for the rest of the year? I don't want it to only be PR that I'm reviewing. So these are things that I bought for like a self-sponsored Glossier review video. In the Glossier review video, I reviewed many more than just these 3 things, but the other things were things that I had acquired by some means or another before the video. So these were the only 3 things that I actually purchased with that like channel review budget allowance in January, and I haven't reckoned with them yet. So things that I just buy outright for myself with my beauty budget, I don't need to reckon with them, because hopefully, I mean, the goal is that I'm not buying a thing unless I'm sure I want to keep it. Like, I reckon with it before I buy it. But with the stuff that I'm buying just to review, I'm not always sure that I'm going to like it. Otherwise, I wouldn't need to buy it to review it. So this stuff, even though I bought it with my own money, it has to be reckoned with. I'm going to keep all 3 of these things. These 2 I'm keeping because I really, really like them. I'm not going to review them now because that review is up on my channel. But I love the Future Dew. I really like the Generation G as well. So those are easy, no-brainers. The mascara I'm only keeping because it's a mascara and it can't be given away. It's not even a matter of like intimacy or germs. It's actually like an issue of eye safety. I mean, I guess it is germs, but you know what I'm saying. It's different with a liquid lipstick. It's like you can't donate a liquid lipstick because, you know, it can't be sanitized, but I can give a liquid lipstick away to a friend, but I wouldn't give a mascara away to a friend. So I'm keeping it because I don't want to waste it. I don't want to just throw it away, and it's fine for the lower lash line and it's fine for layering. I'll continue to use it from time to time until it's dried out and used up. But if it weren't a mascara, but if it was some other type of product, given the way that I feel about the formula, I wouldn't keep it. So I'm only keeping it because it's a mascara and it's undonatable. Let's talk about the things that came in PR that aren't cosmetics, the like objects, that they aren't even like beauty. So the earrings, I showed them in my Get Ready With Me. I took the 2 front ones out, these 2 little opal huggies. That was the word that I couldn't remember in that Get Ready With Me. Little tiny hoops, they're called huggies. I took out these ones, the opal ones, from the front so that I could put these big hoops in, but they are so pretty and they're the perfect huggies to be in my front holes when I'm not wearing bigger earrings, because they're relatively substantial and they just are so sweet. Goodness gracious, I feel like I just spent the better part of my young life trying to get the camera to focus on this huggy, and I'm not even sure that I got a clear close-up shot of it. But these are from Aurelia, London. I have been so impressed by the sweetness and the quality of the huggies that they make, and they don't irritate my sensitive ears, not even the most recent cartilage piercing. In fact, this top cartilage piercing right here has had a really hard time healing. It just has continued to hurt, has gotten irritated, it's gotten swollen, it's continued to kind of be gunky from time to time. And when I switched out the piercing hoop, the one that she pierced it with, the woman who pierced this part of my ear, when I switched it out for an Aurelia London hoop, it like healed overnight. And I wonder if maybe the piercing hoop was just a little bit thicker because they're trying to like create a good space when they pierce. And maybe my ear was just struggling to ever completely heal around such a thick post. And perhaps the huggy that I put in was just a thinner wire, and so my ear was like super relieved, and it just like immediately healed around it and has been totally happy ever since. I'm really glad to finally report that my cartilage piercings are healed. It was like a year ago pretty much that I got them pierced. So Aurelia sent me a couple of different sets of earrings, and some of them are matched sets. And for me, with my counting, if something's a matched set, like a pair of earrings, I count it as one. So I'm definitely going to keep this pair of opal huggies. I'll be putting them in my front holes all the time, and so that counts as one thing in. And then what do I have in my ears right now? So they sent me some ear party earring sets, so it would be like 3 mismatched huggies and studs, and I ended up like mixing and matching and keeping some of them and not keeping others. And the ones that I'm not keeping, I actually have them in my jewelry box currently. I think I'm probably going to go through and maybe take them when I go to this tango festival and give them away to like some friends that I might see there. So I'm not going to like hold them all up and show them all to you because they're so tiny, but I will link Aurelia down below. I really, really love their jewelry. I'm really grateful to them for sending these huggies to me. So right now in my ears, I have 4 plain... Oh no, I don't. I have 3 plain gold huggies, and I know that they sent those 3 to me. And then I have 2 huggies with like crystals, but I think that those Huggies with crystals, I had them. They had been in they are also from Aurelia, but they had been in the gift bag. They were like the party favors from Simbri's party. So those are not new to me this month. Those aren't stuff in. But the 3 plain gold ones are. And then the little one at the very top of my ear that has the green stone, that's like my favorite one, that's also new. So I'm going to count that as 2 more pairs of earrings that I'm keeping. So overall, that's 3 pairs of earrings. It's like a lot. 3 pairs of earrings that Aurelia sent me that I'm keeping. This is one of them, and then the other 2 are in my various ear holes. And then the last thing before we get into the beauty is this crazy situation. Have you guys seen these before? This is like it's like a velvet hat box of preserved roses. How me is that? So when this company reached out to me, and it's called Rose Forever, and they were like, do you want to try a velvet hat box full of preserved roses? I was like, yes, queen, send me the creepy gray ones. I think it's so pretty. I have taken some pictures with this like as a surface, and one of them did go up on Instagram already. It was like a picture of my manicure that week, and I am planning to do more. That's the main reason why I'm keeping this. This actually counts as homewares to me, curiously, and homewares aren't really part of my stuff inventory. So I think I'm not going to count it as stuff in, because it doesn't like live with my beauty stuff. It's living like in our living room, like it's living as sort of like a home decor feature. So it's not going to be inventoried at the end of the year when I count my makeup, my skincare, my clothes, my jewelry, my accessories and stuff. I'm not going to be counting this. So I'm talking to you about it. I'm telling you that it came in PR, and I'm going to give like a pretty thorough review of it, but it's not necessarily counting as stuff in with my year of less stuff, even though I'm keeping it. So here's the thing. I'm very grateful to have this because it's going to be beautiful for Instagram pictures. The surface of this is just stunning, and it looks incredibly beautiful if you like drape something on top of it, put your hands on top of it. I love that it's gray. I love that it's got this kind of like gothic feeling to it, but it's also feminine in its way. It's just really, really special and cool. However, the quality concerns me a little bit because of the pricing on the website. And they sent this to me in exchange for an honest review, and I'm keeping it. Again, like it looks cool when it's sitting like on top of our record player. Like it looks cool in our house. It's going to be very useful for me as somebody who has an Instagram presence and is trying to create beautiful imagery on Instagram. But given how expensive they are, like I think that this is over $200 if you buy it new. Given how expensive they are, I was kind of surprised when I opened the PR package for 2 main reasons. One was that when I took the lid off of the box, the inside of the lid, because it's velvet, was coated with dust and crumbles and like little bits of the leaves, and it just looked like dandruff. Like it didn't look very attractive. And if I had like bought this as a gift for someone and had it shipped to them, and they opened it and it was like crumbling and falling apart, it was just a little bit like, and now it's very nice and tidy because I've like cleaned it up with tape and with like a lint roller, and just like gone in and gotten every little bit of it off and just made it as neat and tidy as I could. And we're careful not to like touch it or brush up against it so that we don't knock any more bits of the roses off. We're just kind of like careful with it. But when it arrived in shipping, and I think that the idea is like you can buy these preserved roses for someone, and they'll like, you buy them a bouquet of roses and it lasts for 2 years, because they are real roses that have been treated with something to make them be preserved. I would be disappointed if I had spent that money and bought somebody this item and then it arrived in the condition to which it arrived to me. And then the other thing about it, the other thing that made me feel a little bit funny about like giving it a wholehearted recommendation, is that the roses are stuck into a cardboard disc that's sitting inside of the top of the hat box, and it's just white cardboard and you can see it. So when I opened it, it was like kind of unstable and shaking around, and the roses seemed like they had been moving around in transit, and you can see that white cardboard like in between the cracks around the edges, and it's just not very sightly. You can like see the glue, and I kind of feel like since the outside is black, why didn't they use black? Like, why didn't they make it something that would recede? Because you really can't, like right here, I'm looking at like the glue just a piece of glue that's very visible from the side of it looking in. And again, if it was a less expensive item, it's like an artwork, like it's like a sculpture, and I don't blame them just in terms of the construction of it and the challenge of transporting something so delicate through the mail. So just in terms of like the thing that it is and what it is, I don't blame them. I like it. Like I like the thing for its own sake, and I'm really grateful to have it. It's at that price point, I feel like a brand needs to be delivering a luxury experience in terms of the finishing, the details. If I were running this brand, I would have put a piece of wax paper into the lid that would protect the inside of the lid from the roses, and that you could just remove when it arrived at its destination. And even if there were then some crumbles, at least the crumbles wouldn't end up stuck all over the inside of the lid. So it's little touches like that I felt like were missing from the overall experience of receiving them in the mail. But it is something I received in PR. Again, it's something that I'm personally grateful to have because it does have a place in my life. And I'm glad to be able to like show it to you and review it on my channel because it's kind of a cool idea. It's like weird and cool. And even in spite of having been a little bit shocked by some of the presentation when I opened it, it does give me good feelings when I look at it. And I'm excited to do more photography with it. Okay, whew. Let's move on to talking about the beauty products with which I need to reckon this month. It's a tall order. I feel like I'm procrastinating. Okay, let's start with something easy. This is the bottle of the VDL Lumilayer primer that Simbri gave me. She gave it to me because she knows that it's my holy grail primer. It is. I've already been using it almost every day. Definitely keeping that. All right, I had to just get myself a little bit more organized. Let's talk about the Alter Ego liquid lipsticks. So I demonstrated this. I put it back in its box, honestly, because I like the box and I like keeping it in its box. Also, I'm not totally sure that I'm going to keep the one that I tried, but what I do know is that I am not going to keep the others. Where are they? So I showed these and I talked about them in the Get Ready With Me, the really long Try to Get Ready With Me, in which I demonstrated this one. And this is the only one I opened so that I could test the formula. These 5 are completely unopened, which makes them prime candidates for donation. So I'm not going to keep these. And just to be totally clear, I feel like a lot of you are on board with this, but then once in a while I get comments, and so I feel like I need to say it again. Just to be totally clear, the stuff that's in the purgatory box, the things that I'm talking about in today's video, that has not been counted yet in my year of less stuff. So this is a lot of stuff. There's probably like 40 items here, maybe more, that I'm talking about in this video today. I didn't inventory any of this stuff at the beginning of the year, and I haven't counted it yet as stuff into my life. So even though it's here in my life and some of it I've been testing, it's in purgatory. It doesn't belong to me yet officially. So these 5 lipsticks from Alter Ego, they never entered my life, they never became my belongings, and I'm going to pass them straight through and donate them without them ever having been counted. So they're just neutral. They're not stuff in and they're not stuff out either. So I'm not earning myself check marks on my stuff out list by giving these away. I'm just saying I'm choosing not to ever make them a part of my life. They've come in so that I could review this one and give my opinion about this one. But they are just, they're not numbers. They're not among the numbers that I'm dealing with this year. Everything I do decide to keep in this video, it will become one number. It will count for one number, one item that I accepted into my life this year. But the stuff that's not staying with me doesn't. The empties is all stuff out, and the stuff I keep in the reckoning is all stuff in. The stuff that passes straight through to donation is exactly that. It's just passing straight through and not being counted. Here are some other, this is actually kind of interesting because I'm doing a different thing with 3 different groups of these things. So I did not request anything from Octoly in January. There was one thing from Octoly in my January reckoning because it was something that I had requested in December, and then it had come in December and it had taken me until January to decide if I did or didn't want to keep it. That was the Herborian Black Cleansing Oil. But in all of January, I didn't request anything. And then at the beginning of February, I happened to check my Octoly free store and they had this item in there. It was some perfumes by this brand called Good Chemistry. Good Chemistry is the perfume brand that comes from Illume. So Illume is like a home scent brand. Like they make candles and diffusers and stuff. And through Octoly, I have become an Illume super fan. Like I'm a little bit picky about scents. I like this sort of like earthy, woody, patchouli, smoky, peppery campfire situation. I don't really like citron scents, citrus scents. I don't really like bright lemony scents of any kind. I don't really like ocean breeze scents. I'll find out in a moment. I don't really like cologne scents. I don't like, there's just a lot of whole categories. Florals, white florals. I don't like really pretty much any florals. I like vanilla, amber, oak moss, campfire, patchouli, earthy, dusty, woody, old books smell. Like that's me entirely, and I never stray into the other categories. Home scents, a lot of times there will be like a home scent brand, and every scent that they make I don't like, because it's like everything will have like orange in it or white floral in it. They won't make any scents that are just purely that earthy smokiness and sweetness that I like. But Illume makes so many scents like that. And I have requested and received from Octoly a couple of like sets of candles and diffusers from Illume, and they just have my heart. Whoever is the nose at Illume has my same taste, I feel. So when I saw that they had created perfumes, like scents for the body, under this other brand, Good Chemistry, but it's like the Illume people, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to try them. So they had a couple of sets of different scents, and the one that I requested seemed to have the earthiest ones in it. And they actually sent 4 perfumes. It was kind of hard to tell from the listing on Octoly that it was going to be so much stuff. But this one is called North Sky, and this is the one I'm keeping. So I'll open it and show it to you right now so you can see the bottle. I'm going to leave the rest of them in their boxes. So it says that the notes are bergamot, peppercorn, and tobacco. And when I opened this and smelled it, I lost my mind, because it smells exactly like the Blackberry bath bomb from Lush. Blackberry is like an OG Lush bath bomb, and it's a scent that I love. It's also bergamot. I think that blackberry is bergamot and frankincense grounded. Like those are the 2 notes. And there's something about it. It's sweet and earthy, but it's got this kind of powderiness to it that I want to say it's like a fruity powderiness, but I don't tend to like fruity scents, so it can't be that. I think it's the bergamot that's making it seem like that, but it's the blend of, in this case, it's bergamot with tobacco and pepper, and it has the same effect as Lush's blend of bergamot with frankincense. It makes me feel so good inside. It just is like cozy and warm. It's familiar and nostalgic, but it's also fresh, and it's just such a gift to have found a scent that has that smell. Because I love that bath bomb smell so much that I used to buy those bath bombs and like keep them wrapped in their paper and store them in my clothes so that they would make my clothes smell like that. Like that's how hardcore I was about that scent. And then they discontinued it. And I think that the bath bomb has come back for a limited run, but I'm just not really buying things like that anymore, like bath products that are like one use only that are so expensive. So I hadn't even thought about going back and getting more blackberry bath bombs, even though I saw that it came back for a limited time. But now I have this scent, North Sky by Good Chemistry, and wow, I'm so much more excited about it even than I thought I would when I realized I was going to get the chance to try some scents from the Illume family. So there are 2 that I opened, smelled, took off the cap, smelled it, and knew right away that they're not for me. Marine Mist, which is a citrus, cassis, and musk scent, was kind of nice, but just not something I want to wear on my body. Silver Coast, which is citron, ocean, and rosemary. I actually disliked this one. I liked this one, it just wasn't for me. Silver Coast I actually disliked. It reminds me of a certain kind of perfume that a lot of men in tango would wear, and I felt like it would go a little bit sour on them like during the evening. And so there's just like this cologne-y smell that I have a bad association with. But I'm sure I will be able to rehome the 2 of these. Scent is so personal, and it hits everyone's noses differently, and it hits everyone's body chemistry differently. So I'm really glad to be able to donate or give away like these full, beautiful bottles of perfume. This one I'm not sure about. So I opened it, I smelled it, I liked it. It's mandarin, amber, and oak moss, but it didn't smell mandarin-y at all. Like whatever they're saying mandarin is definitely like an earthy smell. It's Copper Canyon. This is what I'm going to leave in the purgatory box. I need to wear it on my body. I just haven't had the chance to do that yet. These literally just arrived, but I'm trying to reckon with everything because I really don't want to have stuff stay in the purgatory box. This is an exception though. So even though these just arrived, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show them on camera. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do it. But I know that I can't decide about this yet. So this is going to be that rare beast that stays in for another month. Sorry, the camera stopped recording and I'm not sure if it caught my last sentence, which was that I said that this is going to be that rare beast. Hopefully it will continue to be a rarity that stays in for another month. But I feel like it's fair with things that literally just, like it was yesterday. Like these came in the mail yesterday. So I feel like I can't be expected to decide definitely about 4 perfumes in one day. So it makes sense that at least one of them would stay through to the other reckoning. Let's talk about these IT Cosmetics lipsticks. So IT Cosmetics sent their entire range of billowy. The name isn't on them, and unfortunately I don't know it, and I have like a box of stuff sitting on top of my closed laptop, so I'm not going to look it up right now, but Pillow is in the name. It's IT Cosmetics' new lipstick release. So Simbri got the entire line, all of the colors in PR, and she asked me if I wanted to try them from it. Like she was like, do any of these colors interest you? I could bring them to you and then you can review them because it's a new release. So it's the kind of thing that it is nice to be able to test and review. So I looked at the range and I told her the 3 colors that I like the most, Vision, Serene, and Fanciful. I'll go ahead and swatch them for you. This is a kind of a conundrum situation. It's actually interesting to me. I mean, it's not necessarily like the most interesting thing in the world, but given that this is my life and this is my project, it's interesting. So Fanciful is like a brilliant red orange that's so brilliant that it almost looks like it has a little bit of pink in it. And each one, oh, this one hasn't been swatched. I'm not going to touch it because then I can donate it. So I thought I had swatched them all, and that was one of the things that I feel a little bit not great about. Fanciful, the matte one, I've worn it. I actually even wore it for a photo shoot. I used it. It's very beautiful. The formula is really, really amazing. Like that's the crazy thing that I have to report to you. I haven't tried that much from IT Cosmetics, but wow, did this formula blow me away. It is so soft and creamy and silky. This is the moment when we employ the word silky, and silky is what we mean. It feels so silky on the lips, but it doesn't feel silicone-y at all. Like, I like this formula. This is so crazy. This is where people are going to come for me. I like this formula more than I like the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick formula. Like, I am blown out of the water by this lipstick formula. It's really cool to have gotten the chance to try it. So that's Fanciful. That's like it's like a really bright red orange that's slightly watery, such that it looks like it has a little bit of pink in it even. This is Vision. Every color comes in a cream and a matte. So that's the Vision cream, and here is the Vision matte. One of the weird things about this is that I found no difference between the cream and the matte formulas. It looks there like there's maybe a slight color difference between the cream and the matte there. Like the matte looks like it might have a tiny bit more orange in it, but the way they feel, the finish on the lips, it's weird that they made both a cream and a matte formula, and then like I find them indistinguishable finish wise. So go figure. And then this is the third color that I really liked from the range. It's called Serene. And this is the cream, and that's the matte. And Serene, they look exactly the same. I guess you can see that the cream has a tiny bit more sheen than the matte, but goodness gracious, they look the same. So here we have Fanciful in the matte formula, and here we have the cream formula of Vision, the matte formula of Vision, the cream formula of Serene, and the matte formula of Serene. So I have not decided what I'm going to do about these. Like I'm deciding here before you in this very moment. Obviously, I'm going to donate the one that's untouched. Here's the thing. As I've expressed, the formula has really impressed me. Every time I put one on, I'm like, wow, wow, wow. I can't wait to tell my subscribers how amazing this is. And it is like nothing that I've ever put on my lips. There's nothing that I can be like, oh, it reminds me of this or it reminds me of that. It's so silky and pillowy, and it's so nourishing and so lovely. The weirdest thing about them so far has been that the mattes and the creams to me perform exactly the same in terms of finish. And the thing that's weird about the way that having them has interacted with my life is that even though I'm so impressed by the formula, I haven't been reaching for them because I want to wear them. Like they've been sitting on my vanity for weeks at this point. Simber gave them to me a couple of weeks ago. I tried them. I knew I was really impressed by the formula, but they were there every day. And every time I reached for them, it was because I was like, oh, I should wear that because I'm testing it. I was never like, ooh, I can't wait to wear that lipstick. And then every time I put it on, I was like, wow, it's so good. I can't wait to tell my subscribers about it. But I wasn't like waking up every morning like, I can't wait to wear that lipstick. And I do kind of feel that way about some of my other lipsticks, like even my Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, which again, the formula impresses me a little bit less, but some of those colors are so special and occupy sort of a role in my imagination about myself and my imagination about my makeup. And so they just compel me more as objects. I think a huge strike against these is what is to me the hideous packaging. Oh, that sounded like a crash. That sounded like a car. Oh no, it's not a crash. It's somebody putting something in a dumpster really loudly and somebody beeping at someone. The stress of living in the big city. This is not cute to me. It just looks gross and it looks dingy. It's new, but it looks dingy. I feel like they made a bad decision with this just plain white plastic. And you know, it's supposed to look like a pillow, like the surface of a cushion or something, which is fine. I feel like the shape of it is fine. Like that could be cute if it was gold, or even if it was a brighter white, or if it was mirrored in some way. But they picked a color of white for the plastic that's like it's such a bright white that it looks gray and dingy. And because it's got this texture, it casts so many shadows at every angle that it just looks dirty. They all looked dirty when they were brand new. And that's part of why I don't feel like I will cherish them. I don't know what to do. Okay, here, let's go one by one. Fanciful, the red. I wore it. It's gorgeous. I wore it in a photo shoot. I don't particularly have a dupe for it, but I love the reds that I already own. And so I think I can do without this one. The other thing that makes it hard is that I can't donate these to women in need. I'm sure I will be able to rehome them with my friends and family, but it's just I'm living through these experiences and like taking notes about them. And one of the notes that I'm taking is that it didn't make me feel great to accept 6 bullet lipsticks for review and then swatch and test 5 of them, which means that 5 of them I can no longer donate. I can only donate the one that's untouched. So I feel much better about the alter ego lipstick situation where I really just thoughtfully chose the one and just tested the one and only contaminated the one. So it's just something to think about for the future. But I was really curious about all of these colors and all of these, like the matte, the difference between the matte and the cream formula, and whether there was a color difference or a texture difference among the colors. So I understand why I used 5 out of the 6 of them for testing purposes. It's just one of the additional factors to consider. So I know I can find a good home for Fanciful. And then of these two, I'm definitely not going to keep like a cream and a matte of either of them. And if I kept one, it would be the matte. So let's take the cream of Serene and the cream of Vision. They're really pretty and I don't have dupes for them. Isn't that weird? They're like these dusky, rusty nudes and I just don't have dupes. I need to move on with this video. I'm feeling nervous right now trying to decide about these. I'm going to keep them in the box. I'm going to let that be good enough that I made a decision about 4 out of the 6. And these are the 2 I would keep if I kept any of them. But I'm going to let myself keep deciding because I would like to decide against keeping them, but I feel like if I did that right now, it would just be because I wanted to do that for the camera and not because that's what I really want. I am going to keep the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk. I've just been using it. This is one I'm keeping it, but as I keep using it, I might learn that the formula is even less ideal than I think it is now. I love the color. That's like one of the main draws for this. I love the color and I love the finish. It just sometimes clings to dry patches. So I don't know if it's going to be like the most versatile and the most useful product that I've ever had or ever kept. But right now I have one foundation that I use for photo shoots and I have a couple of concealers that I use on the everyday. And I don't really have like an in-between sort of more coverage but not full coverage skin product. I had the one from ColourPop, the hyaluronic tint one. It was so lotiony that it always ended up a little streaky with me because I like to apply things with a brush. I had kept it because I like having a product in that roll. But when I started testing this one, I went ahead and decluttered that one because I would prefer to have this in that roll than to have that one from ColourPop. And I don't need two of something that's so similar, but that I use like not on a daily basis. So this is going to be the one thing in that roll going forward, and we'll see how it goes with it. Oh, this is interesting. So I think Lauren brought this over the last time she was here. It is the Perk Up Dry Shampoo from Amika. And I have a bottle of this right now that Amika sent me. I'm using it, and I just don't go through dry shampoo very quickly. And so when she was like, do you want this? I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like that's the kind of thing that I'll use. And I don't have a dry shampoo in my backups box. So when I use up the one that I have, if I want another dry shampoo, I'll have to buy it. So I was like, oh yeah, no brainer. Like that's a great thing for me to take on. But then I remembered that I really want to buy the Batiste XXL one that everyone's always recommending to me. And it's probably going to be a while before I even get through the one that I have. And this one is completely unopened. Like there's still a sticker sealing the cap. I'm just going to donate it. And then I'll just buy the one from Batiste, the one that I really want to try after I use up the one that I have. I feel like this is going to be such a long video, but it's okay. I know that I'm not going to be providing you guys as much content as usual during the second half of February, so I feel like it's the least I can do to give you long videos. So this is something that Georgia sent me. In my last reckoning, I reckoned with like a palette that she sent me, two palettes that she had sent me, a highlighter she had sent me, and this was also in the package that she sent. It's a magnetic palette from Nabla, and there were 3 shadows in it, but one of them completely shattered in transit. These are the 2 that made it. So one of them is called Entropy, and it's sort of like a sheeny taupe. The other is called Sensuelle, and it's a very shimmery, sort of glittery, very fine glittery pale rose. And I like them a lot, and I couldn't decide. I hadn't decided about them then. I hadn't really had a chance to use them very much before that reckoning, but I have now. I wore them a couple of times each, and I enjoyed the finish. I enjoyed it, but I just have so many single shadows, and I have enough magnetic palettes, and so I'm going to keep these 2 in this palette. I'm going to pass this along, and I might take the opportunity to declutter some of my singles and put them in here and give this as a gift to someone. We'll see, but for now this is going into the giveaway box. Let's talk about Erin's faces. So Erin recently sent me some products, a replacement sunscreen, a replacement Tamanu oil. Those are like my go-to skincare products for day. And then these 2 products that I've been wanting to try, actually, the Peppermint Sugar Body Scrub. I ordered them. I feel sort of embarrassed. Like, I know that this is the kind of thing that some people don't like to hear about because it's the kind of thing that makes people jealous. And so would I be, right? Like, I feel so lucky. I tried to order these products. I placed the order. I was going to spend the money on the Peppermint Body Scrub, the Sugar Body Scrub, because I love a body scrub, and I wanted to try more things from Erin's Faces, and the Pumpkin Enzyme Peel. I was replacing my sunscreen, and I wanted to review some more things, so I bought these 2 as well. And it's just when Erin saw that I had placed the order, she refunded me. She was like, no, like I think it's a really small brand, and she really appreciates that I talk about her on my channel. So I was like, okay, but I want her to know, and I want you guys to know that I would have paid my own money for these. And this would have come out of my beauty budget. This would have been a replacement because I didn't have any like body wash or body care products at the time for the bath. But this is something that would have come out of my beauty budget. And that was going to be fine with me. Obviously, I'm really grateful to Erin for covering the costs and just sending them as PR. But I am going to keep them. They're really good. The pumpkin enzyme peel is an absolute no-brainer. It's just a really, really good, like, skin softening, exfoliating, pretty quick mask. Like, you don't have to leave it on your skin for a really long time. It says 10 to 15 minutes. I've used it a couple times in the bath, and my skin loves it. I love a pumpkin peel mask, and I love the formulas of Erin's Faces products. So that's a really nice thing to have. This I've had a wild experience with. It is such an intense scrub. It is wild, you guys. So it's really big, thick chunks of sugar. So it's really scrubby, and I love that. I really love like scrubbing my body with a super oily scrub and coating my body in the oils that are the agent for the scrub. Sugar is also really good for the skin because it's hydrophilic, like it pulls in moisture. And so I find that my skin really loves sugar on my body or on my face. So it's a very intense experience to use it because it's like really chunky and really scrubby. And it has so much peppermint oil in it. So it's really oily. It really coats the skin. It really moisturizes the skin. It really scrubs and smooths the skin. And then at the same time, you're basically bathing yourself in peppermint. And it makes me so cold. And I don't really like being cold. So the first time I used it, I was like, what's going on? I was in the shower and I scrubbed it all over my body. And then I was like, I'm so cold. It's so cold. It's like that mentally feeling. You know what I mean? And I thought that was it. I was like, this is the last time I'm ever using this. I'm so cold. And I got out and I dried off and I was kind of sad about it because it smells really sweet. It has like a sweet peppermint smell that's really nice. And my skin felt really good. So everything about it was great except for that I was so cold. And I got out of the bath and I dried myself off and I had this lovely film over my body and I felt good, but I was so cold. I put on my robe, my cotton robe, and I went into the other room and I was like, Joe, I'm so cold from this peppermint, blah, blah, blah. I was like, drama. I sat down on my vanity and I started doing my skincare. And then all of a sudden I felt amazing. It was like this switch had flipped in my body. And I think what happened was a thing that used to happen when I worked at summer camp in the summers as a young woman. And sometimes at night after the kids were asleep, I would like run down to the river, the ice cold North Carolina river. And I would like dive into the river and then immediately get out. And I would be freezing cold. And it would be like, for this moment, you're just like, oh my God. And then really just like 1 minute after I got out of the freezing cold river, I think what happens is that your body heats itself up to balance out the cold. Like you're like a switch. And it was exactly the same feeling. I'd be walking back from the river back to my tent to go to sleep. And then suddenly it was like a switch would flip in my body and I would feel amazing because it was like my body, my internal temperature had recalibrated to account for the fact that I had made myself so cold. And so it was kind of shocking to have that feeling that I associate with like being in the wood, like alone in the dark in the woods at night as a young woman, like beautiful memories. It was kind of shocking to have that sensory feeling like in the middle of our studio apartment in downtown LA, like one evening a couple of weeks ago. But I felt so good. I felt like I had just taken a shot of like a really amazing elixir. And I was like, wow. And then I was like, Joe, I feel amazing. I feel amazing now. And it was cool. But then it took me a couple of weeks to get up the gumption to use it again because you have to go through the fire to get to the prize. And the second time I used it was in the bath, and I used it all like in the water and under the water and scrubbing under the water. And even in the very hot bath, I still felt cold from the intensity of the peppermint oil. But I knew that the good feeling was coming. And so I drained the bath, patted off, got out, and immediately felt amazing again. So if you don't like that cold feeling, if you don't feel like you can deal with it, don't get this. If you love that mentally feeling, you'll love this. And I wouldn't even say I have a love-hate relationship with it. I would say I have an intense relationship with it. But I'm definitely going to use it up. I'm definitely keeping it. At those first 5 minutes, I thought I was going to be giving you a different review. But I'm glad that I gave it a chance because it's pretty special. And my body is very soft the next morning after I use it. Here's something that I am not going to keep, and I'm glad I still have the little box for it. It is used and it is a pot product, so I can't donate it, but I can give it to a friend. It's the Becca Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer. I think Lauren got this in PR and then gave it to me. It's this blue paste that's supposed to like prime the skin under your eyes and help to color correct and soothe. But just my under eyes just aren't a problem area for me. And if anything, I feel like I don't want to really put that much makeup there, only if I really need to. So I don't like the idea of like layering a thing under a thing. But I did try it, and it does give like a little, again, like a little tingly mentholy feeling. It's just, it doesn't feel like enough of a necessity or something that I would get enough pleasure out of. I definitely wouldn't use it up. It would just be sitting around. So I'm going to give it to someone who will really enjoy it. I'm looking at the things I've decided to keep and thinking about my statement that I've been making some of the time when I've been talking about the project, about only wanting to buy something if I feel confident that I can use it up. I feel like when it comes to keeping something from PR, keeping something that was free, it's a little bit different. Like, I think if I decide to keep this lipstick, it won't be to that standard. I wouldn't buy this lipstick. If I wasn't sure that I was gonna like love it so much that I would probably use it up, I wouldn't buy it. But I do think I will allow myself to keep things once in a while if I want to use them for a while, even if I'm not totally confident that I would use it up. But knowing that I would never in a million years use it up or hit pan on it, that's a good litmus test for me. That's like a good way to realize that it's definitely not something that I do want to keep. But I'm looking at the things I totally see myself using up the perfume. Definitely the Erin Spaces products, skincare products. It's really easy to see myself using them up. The Glossier Future Dew, yes. The primer, yes. I could even see myself using this up, especially if I start using it for the photo shoot. So yeah, maybe everything except for the Generation G lipstick from Glossier. I could see myself never quite managing to use that up, but pretty much everything I've kept in this reckoning fits that description. So that's kind of exciting. Oh, this is something else that Simbri recently gave me. That was PR for her. It's the Organic Pharmacy Carrot Butter. And I had a little sample of this last year and I loved it. It is a very nourishing cleansing balm, but it's occlusive. It's not something that will completely emulsify and wash away. I do like that kind of balm from time to time for massage, for treatment, for masking. I like using it in the bath. I will definitely use this up. It's going to be stuff in and stuff out all within the same year, so I'm totally fine to keep that. This was a party favor in my bag from Simbri's party, and curiously, I'm not going to keep it. It's the Olio e Osso Balm that Matilda talks about these so much. This is number 14. It's a very pretty kind of pale rosy color, but it's a really, really sheer on the cheeks. It doesn't give that buildable color that I like for a cream blush, as you can tell. And it's really oily. It's really oil based, so it doesn't really set down. It's really just like a no makeup dewy balm. It'll be an ideal gift to a friend who truly doesn't wear that much makeup and who would love like a chapstick that also works on the cheeks, which is basically what this is. I think I'm also going to pass on the Derma E. This was in the Purgatory box last month, so I feel like I should decide about it. Actually, I'm going to keep this. I hope I don't regret this. I'm going to keep this and put it in my backups box. And here's why. It's a hyaluronic acid and green tea hydrating serum, but it's a thick serum. It's not a thin, watery serum. And when Simbri was over, as I talked about before recently, and showing me the things that she had brought for me to choose from, one of the things she brought, oh, actually, I should be reckoning with it today. I'll tell you about it right now. I see something else. Oh, but this is almost an empty. Yeah, so this is basically empty, but if I'm going to count it as stuff out in my next empties video, then I have to count it as stuff in right now. This, a friend sent in the mail, and it's the Glow Recipe Avocado Melt Retinol Sleeping Mask. I've quite liked it. I'll review it more in my empties, but obviously this is the kind of thing I would like decide to keep and try, and I have pretty much used it all the way up. I might be able to get one last use out of it tonight, but it has to count as stuff in. I didn't reckon with it in the last reckoning. So Simbri offered me this to review. It's the hyaluronic filler from GM Collins. It also is a thicker hyaluronic acid serum. So it's a moisturizing serum, but it doesn't have that like watery, essency consistency. And before I accepted it from her, I went into my backups box and I looked to see if I had any basic like moisturizing hyaluronic acid style serums, because for a while I've sort of felt like I was swimming in serums. I was like, I have all of these random serums, but I gave a lot of them away over the holidays to my family, because that's the kind of thing that my family members, like my mom, my sister, my cousins, will make use out of, especially hyaluronic acid serums. And so I took all of them home and I gave them away. And when I almost didn't accept this from Simbri because I was like, oh, I'm swimming in serums. But then when I looked into my backups box, I realized that I actually didn't have any backup serums of this kind, like sort of like a second step in the routine. And the one that I do have from The Ordinary, no, it's from Timeless. The one that I do have from Timeless is almost finished. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, sure, like I'll take it and I'll start using it. And I have started using it and I love it because it's beefy. It's just a little bit thicker. It's almost like a cross between a serum and a lotion. I didn't know that I would love that so much, but my skin has been so dry lately that it feels like it was just what my skin was really thirsty for when I started using it. So I am keeping this. I'm going to use this up, but I now know, because I recently scoped out my backups box, that I don't have anything like that or even a watery hyaluronic acid serum in there. So that's what this is. It's a very similar product. It's like the Derma E version of this. And I'm liking this so much that I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one. And I just like Derma E so much. I'd like to get more firsthand experience with a wider breadth of their products so that I can, you know, potentially like recommend this to someone who's looking for something like this, because this one's very expensive, and so I probably wouldn't like actively recommend it unless you're rich. Oh, this isn't actually something I need to reckon with. This is a declutter item. This is the Aveda Texture Tonic. It was in the backups box. I tested it out recently for the first time. I had washed my hair. I sprayed it into my hair when it was damp. And when I woke up the next morning, my hair was like flat as a pancake. It did not give me volume. It did not give me texture. I am going to give it away. So I'm going to put this in the giveaway box. I don't know how this slipped into my reckoning box. I think it was just swimming around with my stuff, and I wanted to like put it away somewhere. And I just had forgotten that what its role was, but it was inventoried at the beginning of the year. So this is going to count as stuff out at the end of this video, and it's going to go into the giveaway box with everything else. Okay, let's talk about these CoverGirl Clean Fresh blushes. This is also something that I just got, so I'm sort of rushing myself to reckon with it now because that's the name of the game this year. I really don't want to be like hanging on to a bunch of extra stuff. And I can already decide about Ripe and Ready. The camera just stopped recording and I went to turn it back on, and then I looked in the monitor and this is what I saw. Who am I? Ripe and Ready and Sweet Innocence are just too pink for me. These aren't blush colors that I ever use. I don't have any blushes in my collection that are these colors, so I haven't even opened these. They are completely untouched, and I am going to donate them. This is the one that I've tried, Flushed. It's the one I'm wearing today. And it's the kind of thing, in person it looks so intense. I'm sure that the lights are sort of toning it down and making it look a little more natural. But in person it looks so editorial. It really looks like a Luke. It's just like pinchy, fleshy, like, oof. I really, really like it. And I don't have anything like this because this kind of coral, that's not a blush I would think to buy for myself. And it's a cream blush. It's not my favorite style of cream blush. I like a pot, but it does work seamlessly on the cheeks. Also, can you see that glow? This is all I have on my cheeks right now on top of, what am I wearing? The Future Dew. So it might be partly due to the Future Dew, but I layered a lot of it on. So I really feel like my cheeks took on the texture, the sheen of this product. And it does come out looking a little bit metallic. It doesn't blend out as a metallic. It's not like a metallic blush on the cheeks, but I think it does have some sheen in it. That's why it looks metallic when you first squeeze it out. I'm going to keep this. I really like this. It's different for me. It's pushing me outside of my usual blush comfort zone. But I'm going to go ahead and keep this. Again, I don't think I would buy it because I don't know if I can confidently say that I'm going to use it enough to use it up. But I do love it enough as a piece of PR to add it to my actual blush collection for a while, even at the cost of counting it as stuff in. And this one I haven't actually tried. I did swatch it. This is the one I thought I would love the most. It's Butterflies. It's the one that's like a mauve-y brown. It's more like the blushes that I already own. You know, I think I can go ahead and give this one away too. Because even though of the four, it's the one I would think I would keep, I don't need to keep it when I have those gorgeous brown and mauve-y brown cream blushes already. If I'm going to use this color, I'm going to reach for them. The appeal of this one is that the formula is good, and that would add to the appeal of this one. But with this one, the formula is good, and the color is totally extraordinary and different for me. So that's why this one's making it in and Butterflies isn't. Wow, that was kind of a shocker for me. So these are some other CoverGirl products from the new launch that Lauren received in PR and gave to me. They are sticks. CoverGirl Clean Fresh Cooling Glow Sticks. I've only opened this one called Pink Thrill, and I used it on my cheeks. It's like a coppery, these are supposed to be highlighters, but it's like a coppery color, highlighting for dark skin tones. On me, it's like a sheeny blush, and I did like it, but I didn't like the formula enough to open these ones. So Opal Dreams and Transparent are going straight through to donation. I'm not even going to open them. Can't decide about Pink Thrill right now. I feel like I like it for its own sake, but I don't like it more than my other cream blushes. And also, it's a cooling gel, so it has this weird, like, I don't know, it makes you feel mentholy on the cheeks. I'm going to keep this in the purgatory box for now. So far, there are only 4 things staying in, and it's okay for there to be a couple of things that like cross over. So Pink Thrill, like I just tried it during makeup playtime one night. I haven't had the chance to wear it out, try it with my other products, etc., etc. I really do feel like I haven't given it a fair shake. House of Glory sent me some products. How fun is that? They, they sent me like some surprise PR, which is just cool because it's like they're this gorgeous small brand and I love talking about them on my channel. I love supporting them. So they sent me this Ether hair oil. It's the essence of our hair oil, free from added fragrances. So I think it's unfragranced. Yeah, it's like a really nice hair oil, but it's unfragranced. Hair oil, that's something that I have a bit of. I have a little hair oil bottle from the green room and I have a hair serum. And I only use it right before I wash my hair, and I wash my hair so infrequently that those two are going to take me forever to get through. And then this is unused, so I'm going to actually give that away. I'm sure it's really, really lovely. But I have stuff that fits that role already. These are like their Valentine's Day perfumes. Oh, they smell good. Oh, this one smells really good. It's called Come Hither. Bourbon, vanilla, tonka bean, rose oil, orris root, saffron, and a touch of honey. I feel like I would really like that, but I haven't had the chance to try either of these on my skin. So I'm gonna have to keep them in the purgatory box as well. And then these little samples, these are like little teeny samples of perfumes, but I have so much perfume to sample and I know myself well, and I just know that I would never get to these. So I'm gonna give away these little samples, but I'm gonna keep these larger spray samples and try them out so that I can actually review the scents on my channel at some point. This came in my Sephora order when I ordered the Algenist Green Color Corrector. It was my little sample. It's the Herbivore Prism Mask. And I had kind of besmirched this when I did a video about new makeup releases. I talked about it because the advertising was so pretty. It just looked amazing. It's like crystalline and reflective, and it's like a perfectly clear AHA BHA mask. So when I saw that this was an option for something to add in as like a deluxe sample, I was like, oh yeah, I'll try that out. And you know I love an AHA BHA mask. It's remarkable because it doesn't sting at all. I feel nothing when I put it on my face. It's pretty easy to apply. It's pretty elegant to use. Maybe a little harder to remove than some masks because it's so sort of sticky and it's like a thick, very, very thick syrupy type thing. It does make me glowy. It does help to exfoliate. It's a very similar function to the Aaron's Face's pumpkin enzyme peel. It's just that this one is like more active and you can feel it more, and it just feels a little bit earthier. It's got, it's just more like stuff that it's more like a thing that was made. It feels more handmade and it feels like it's doing more. This feels very, very mild, but it does make your skin glowy. I'm sure too that this is much more expensive. Again, like this is a thing I was gonna buy with my money. I had like put it in my cart and checked out. This is a thing that I anti-hauled because I was like, it's really pretty, but I just don't need a thing like that, right? I'm glad I got the chance to try it. I do think it's nice. I am going to keep it. I am going to use it up. But I think it's just probably a little bit too mild and too expensive for what I want in this type of product. This is another thing that Simbri asked me if I wanted to take on, and I was like, yeah, of course, because I use micellar water a lot, and it would be great to have a little bit of backup, like refill stuff of Bioderma because it's my favorite one. I think I already have some backup micellar water, so let me just check real quick, actually. Yeah, there's one of these in the backups box already. And this is also in the backups box, but this is almost empty. So I've used this one almost all the way up. So I have one in the backups box. Do I think I'm gonna get through this and get to this year? I think I am, because I did have to refill and replace my micellar water several times last year, like 3 or 4 times. And I was buying bigger bottles than these like half-size bottles. So yeah, I will go ahead and keep this. I think I'll probably use it up before the end of the year. And that leaves just this Good Molecules Ultra Hydrating Facial Oil. This is very tempting to keep because I love this oil. I think I probably like it more than any of the other ones that are in my backups box waiting to be used. At the same time, it's very tempting to give this as a gift, and I have so many beautiful oils. And I do think I have one in the backups box that has sea buckthorn oil in it, and this one has mostly that in it, and I have used this one, so I can already review it. Like, I can already report back to you guys that this is a great oil. There's nothing wrong with it. I want it. Like, I want to keep it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and donate this because Again, like I have more oil than you could shake a stick at. This one, it's really good. This is, for some reason, this is like a weirdly hard decision for me, but I think it's the right one. Okay, so we're left with these two little perfume samples, this perfume, these two lipsticks, and this Covergirl blush stick. We're left with those. They're staying in the purgatory box. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, if there's two things I forgot about. The alter, I'm running out of steam though. I might just leave these in the purgatory box too. The Alter Ego lipstick in Intrigue. It's the liquid lipstick that I decided to try. I think just due to personal exhaustion at this very moment and inability to make decisions, I'm going to leave this in the purgatory box too. I do love the color, but it feels like it would be a lot right now to decide to add a lipstick to my collection. So and I've only worn it one time, or I've worn it twice. I've only really fully like tested it out the one time. So I'm going to give it a couple more tries before I decide. Same with this Aaron's Faces Magic Dust. I've only tried it the one time. I haven't really gotten to like test it. So I'm going to leave this in the purgatory box too. So there's just a handful of things in there. That's pretty respectable as far as I'm concerned. And these are all of the things that I'm not keeping. These are all the things that are going straight through to donation. It's about 30 things in there that are going straight through to donation. So I was right. There were a lot of things in this purgatory box to begin with. But it's kind of a lot of keeps this round. So it's 15, but then there's the 3 pairs of earrings. So 15, 16, 17, 18. And then if you count the roses, it's 19, but I'm not counting them. So 19 things that I'm keeping, but I'm not counting the roses as stuff in because it's homewares, and I'm only accounting for the other categories. So that's 18 things. Is that right? Is that what I counted? 15, 16, 17, 18? Yeah. 18 things. I'm just going to mark them really quick before I forget on my stuff in list. And then I'm marking 1 on the stuff out list for the Aveda Texture Tonic because that was actually something that I already owned. Still way ahead with stuff out. Okay, here's how I feel at the end. You know, I was so nervous at the beginning of this video and it's been going on for so long and I'm like at the end of my rope right now. But the way I feel about this is that it's a hefty number of things, like 18 things, but most of them are things that I'm going to use up, that I feel like will be empties by the end of the year. So this is an empty already pretty much. This is going to be empty. This is going to be empty. So if I'm counting only the things that I might still have, that I think might still actually get inventoried at the end of the year, that to me would be 1, 2, 3 probably this big bottle of perfume. Who knows? Maybe I will get through it, but let's count it. 3, maybe. Once again, I could see myself still having some of this left at the end of the year because I wear this type of product relatively infrequently. If it were a concealer, I would think it would be done by the end of the year, but let's count it 2. So only 4, and then the earrings are permanent items. They're not disposable. They're not something that I'm going to use up. So those 3 pairs of earrings makes 7. So that's just 7 things, give or take a couple, that I feel like I'm probably actually taking into my life that they're going to occupy space for months and months and months and then maybe even for years or for at least a year. So that doesn't feel as bad. Honestly, I thought there were going to be more. Then the rest of the things that I'm taking in this round of reckoning are things that I feel like I'm going to make really good use out of, I'm going to use up completely, and then they're going to have fully contributed to my well-being. Because if you use up a product like a sleeping mask or a body scrub or something, it's just like, you know, that's just like using the product and me taking advantage of my good fortune to be able to receive some of these things as gifts, taking advantage of that good fortune and applying it as like a self-care that's like mobilized until the product is used up completely. And that also allows me to go thorough reviews of the products. So I feel better about it now than I did at the beginning when I was like a little bit daunted by all of the stuff that surrounds me. I'm excited to be able to donate 30 beautiful things, the vast majority of which are completely unopened, completely untouched. That is really great. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.